Remember I told you when I'll see you, I'll make sure I double do what you wanted to do to me. Of course you know me. Most of the times when I feel could be the days you think the brightness of light could come are these days that I like seeing faces like yours get dark. That is why I will kill you. I'm just joking, this movie. My name is Alenne Menget, and you're watching Hall of Films with Darling Younger. Alenne Menget, one of the most difficult questions I have today is to finally even explain who I am, because at a certain point I do not know who I am anymore. But for the things I know the world knows I am, is a journalist, filmmaker, actor, cook, and I'm getting into so many other things, business, yeah. So I'm some versatile, lucky guy who knows how to do a couple of things that a lot of people do not know or try to dare to do.
Tell us about your childhood. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Bangui. First 5 years there. Second, rest of my life after that was in Bamenda until I got to the University of Buea. Later on then, yeah. So I grew up in my memorable childhood in Bamenda, and two neighborhoods, Nacho, Aziri, and Atuakum. Those are my areas. And later on, Tarinkun. If you know those areas, if you're from Bamenda, then that's where I grew up.
Okay. And you have siblings?
Yeah.
How many siblings?
Those are the few things I don't want to talk about on TV. Yeah, I need permission from my siblings or kids or wife to ever talk about them on TV. That's a public business surrounded with lots of jealousy and lots of people do not understand show business. So I like to take myself alone. Maybe part of my family, they don't want or don't like what I do. So I really don't like talking about them or making them public on the media. It's exactly what is giving me the experiences today. Yeah, is my childhood friendship. The bond with my father, who taught me a lot of things. He taught me so much of what I have today in my childhood. I come from that home that I'm doing exactly what my father was doing. And being a linguist at that period where there were few, he taught me the gift of the gab. He taught me how to play with words. He taught me how to do the movies. He taught me how to talk like a journalist. At that very, very young age, I come from a very fun home. My father used to be called Bill Cosby. That traditional aspect where parents were scared of, you see parents and you're running away. My father instead was a comedian to us. So I've had this very, very fantastic childhood that I miss so much because now that I'm representing him, he's not there. So I do not know how to give it back to a father. I just know how to give it back to his grandchildren. I mean, my own kids now. So there's nothing I will forget about my childhood, because if I were given an opportunity to turn 100 times, I would still want to be a kid till today, from the same parents, the same home.
Was it always rosy?
Yes. They're completely rosy. My father attempted to beat me once, and I jumped on the chairs and jumped up into the ceiling and laughed, and he was a laughter shaker. You can't get me, you can't get me. So in my whole life, my father attempted beating me once. I've forgotten what I did. Okay. Then there's another thing that I remember my father did. I mean, when I think about him, you know, for the things, yeah, there was one day, my mother didn't want me to be this who I am, show business. I wanted to be DJ. And so there was this particular night that I dodged and I went to the nightclub, and I got back, passed through where we passed and nobody would know, got into my room, and by the time I put the lights on, my father was on my bed and he said, "Shh, there are mosquitoes in my room, come behind." Wow. So, and nobody till today ever knew that. So I come from that kind of, you know, my father once bought a piano in England, and my mother traveled on her leave for 1 month, went to meet the brother in the north, locked my piano in her room because they were not in the same room, and I broke the door and my father, no, he didn't. Let me do what you meant. So that's, yeah. So we play, and sometimes it's not like he wasn't strict. Okay. He was so strict, but he was more of the comic strict. He gave more of advice. He told you exactly what you'll become if you're lazy. He told you exactly what you are. If you give me opportunity, I'll tell you one of the biggest lessons I learned, but I'm learning till today. He told me one is that there were two very dull people in our house. And I said, no, there are many dull people. He said, no, the two dull people were him and I. I said, no, even if we are saying dull, I don't think you're dull because you're a lecturer. Ian, there's lots of people are coming to learn. He said, no, the difference between you and I is that I know I'm dull. You don't even know you're dull. It's later on that I understood him because in my past, I usually would argue to win. So he meant that I should also listen to other people. And that's what a lot of people out here are facing. He'll give you information without letting you know he's giving you information. And one of the rules in our house in the morning was that they had to give you one word in the morning, then in the evening you bring the word back. So if they get up in the morning and they say, it is procrastination, and they are talking about my character, and he now says procrastination means you keep postponing. He will tell you that, and everybody will take procrastination away, you come back. We'll talk about procrastination. Then the next day they'll bring another idea like procast. That's why I play with words, because at a very childhood, we had words. It wasn't by force. It was with fun. When we finished with words, we now went to a certain book that almost spoiled me that he brought American idioms. I took American idioms and started talking to young girls at that age. So can I pop the question to you? No, that's when I knew a pop question in American parlance, will you marry me? Can you get me poppy lover? So you get to PPP, all the pop, will learn them all. So yeah, so that's it.
Okay. Do you have any childhood regrets?
No, I don't have any childhood regrets at all. At all. It was a complete 100%. You know what? I've always felt that I have it all until I get to the next step that I realize that I didn't have all, which means my mind is always kept contented. I don't have the mind of jealousy. I don't have the mind of envy. I have the mind of appreciation. So there is no regret. And I also have this within me. I have this fantasy of always looking at people behind me, not just the people ahead of me. So I like say, oh, but look at them now. God made me higher. I usually do not look at a lot above to say I want to become so. It's not childhood till today. I don't have any regret.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But did you feel that you were different from the others?
Yeah, somehow. Not in terms of, we had a TV and the neighbors didn't have. Okay. But later on, as I'm growing, I knew that we were very broke people. But at that age, I knew we were bad. Then the fact is that we spoke English. The neighbors spoke Pidgin. But then, you know, we were coming from this Atuako Mabango quarters where a lot of people, they were illiterate. If we had to carry that comparison to Foncha Street where the rich were, we would be nothing. But that our environment was so different, and my father was very nice. Every day people would come for help. And he would make that, every day people would come, every single day he would sit outside. There are lots of people. I come from that home where my father never took alcohol, although I'm the champion today. My mother never took alcohol. And I come from that home where nobody has ever knocked our door to say that my papa, you want the papa, they owe me. Maybe that's the reason I'm planning to borrow my first money from you now, because I don't have anybody to come in to say they owe me here. So yeah, so we didn't know that it's out there that I started realizing that, oh, there were some things that were different. Okay. Yeah. I remember there was once I was reported to my family and my mother, because my mother was the one that beat. My mother beat me well before my father went and investigated and said that the thing was not me. Oh. My mother would beat before. Before even asking? Yes, okay. Before asking, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what did you study in school?
I read history, and the most capable history, because I'm lucky that I did the European history syllabus, the American history syllabus. Then I failed the advanced level and had just history in C. Then they changed the whole syllabus and brought Cameroon history and African history. That is when I understood why I failed. Then I still passed history again. Then I went to the university and did history. So I know all history of the world. Because I had the syllabus that used to be the old world and European history. When they took it out, the next syllabus that they brought was Cameroon history and African history. I still did it.
Okay, let's talk about your career now. When did you get into movies?
I would not remember the exact date, but I would remember why I got there. I got there because of Gift of Gab and challenges. We had just done the Ocean City Radio Kumba, and your boss had come to Douala, and I was sent to Kumba. And I started there, and then the first interns who came challenged me the day they were doing the first Cameroonian, Nigerian, Ghanaian joint collection, and I told them to go do a paper. And by the time I left the newsroom, I came back and I heard they were saying I like talking a lot, because I told them that Nigerians were not in good quality to do movie, that their English was not strong enough. You know, the first Nigerian film, they were, and so by the time I came, they said they need to talk. Like for talk, you know. So I went for the auditions, and I was taken as protagonist for the movie I wanted to go to, and then I blew.
That was it.
Yeah, with Emmanuel Friends.
Well, how many projects are you featuring?
I will not remember.
A lot.
Yeah, I will not remember. I don't know why. I will finally take movie as a career.
Okay.
In a couple of years, let's say 4 years from now. But right now, I take movie as a side, yeah.
Okay.
Look at the script, yeah. So, movie in our context does not put food on the table yet. So, when I have enough food, and I put food for the rainy day in the banda, I will come and invest the movie in 4 years or 5 years when I will be 50. I'll come and say I want to do movie. Right now, I'm not ready. Yeah, but if I have good scripts, being called, I will shoot them. A lot of people could think, they call me one of the pioneers in the movie industry because of the awards I won. But I'm still telling these people who think I'm a pioneer that I have not started. I'm still looking at it. I'm looking at the politics. I'm looking at how to change it my way. I'm looking at how to get to the top. And when I tell you movie at 50, been taking a look at Michael, L. Jackson and the rest. I'm not talking here because I'm preparing myself. Take a little look further than Washington. Okay. Yeah, so just imagine that. Cameroon has not had that. Cameroon has not had a seat in the Hollywood industry, and I think I have that capacity. I worked a lot with my Gift of Gab, and I think I have the capacity to do that.
Okay. Well, though it's a side hustle, it definitely has brought you a lot of fame and awards. Now, how many awards do you have, Neil?
There are many, but I'll talk about 3. Cannes in France. That's one of the biggest movie awards in Europe. I've had the Golden Movie Awards in Ghana. I've had the Best Nollywood Actor in London. I want to call those 3. Yeah, but there are so many other awards, but I want to call those 3 that I'll be ready. I'll be ready that it could be spoken or engraved on a speech on my dying day. Okay. You know, so as achievement. So, yeah. So.
How do you find Cameroon?
There is no Cameroon. There is a Cameroonian film industry. Okay. Yeah. Yes. It's not Cameroon. I hate talking about it because it makes me go political. I don't want to be part of group things. I wish to be called up each time I have a role to play than participate in the politics. Okay. You understand? Okay. Any comment I make here could come against me. Yeah, so I keep it as my impressions. In those days, all of us wanted it for good, but if it gets to a situation where if you stay quiet, it's better, you stay in your place. There are lots of contributions are not necessarily having positions in associations or being part of associations. Yeah, you could still work a lot from underground to build a personal career, like being best actor in Africa does not mean that I should be president or vice or talk about the CFI. Yeah. Okay. It means I should work hard on the ground. Okay. I should watch how the great actors and will become like. And when time comes, I hit the target.
Now you as a cook, how did this journey start?
Yeah, cook is actually, I love food and I don't eat outside. I'm that kind of person who would hardly even have appetite when I'm in some other person's house, except you start drilling me like you have been doing recently, sending recipes, sending your food when you're cooking, although I've not still visited. And by the time I get there, without just bringing food like that, I have, because my appetite is not huge, but it's selective. and is not selective with any peculiar meal. It's selective with time. This morning I badly wanted fresh conchaff. I did it and ate it.
We'll come to the end of this episode of Hall of Fame. Before you go, any last words?
My last word has been a usual one to especially people who are growing. I come from a very humble background, and I think I've broken out through very heavy doors. Putting some confidence in what you do. Don't believe when these people outside, they tell you can do it. Prove it to them you can do it, but you should be sure you can do it before you start saying you can do it. And stay focused, believe in yourself, work hard. That's all I'll tell you. Before you want to go do the other things in this world, put a security behind, call it plan B, plan C, plan E, so that when you mess up, you could start back. It's been an experience in life, and I want you to do the same.